Yeah.
Okay, thank you for remembering to do that, Mike.
Thank you, Fredbot.
Oh
Mike,
God.
I want you to know that earlier I was talking to my dog Maverick, and I think I was saying something about like, oh, I got a response from Mikhail on that message. Except I started saying your name as Mike, and then I started saying it as Mikhail, and I ended up saying Mikhail. I don't know what you need to do with that information, but it's there.
mean, it just means that you need to eat more vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need more kale.
Okay, so I asked Lindsay what the pregame question for today's game is, and she provided me with what is your character's exercise routine, or what do they do to keep their body in adventuring shape? And I think I want to know what Aveline's is first.
Savvy Abby?
I'm really sorry. What was the question?
What does Aveline do to exercise or keep herself in adventuring shape? Because I think it might be different now that she's had the experience on Fatima Rue and got her sword, but I think that at least for a while, I cannot imagine that Aveline had a very strict workout routine.
Yeah, she definitely didn't. Like, there's an activity that she likes to do that she keeps secret, but I don't.
I'm sorry, you can't say that and then not say what it is.
Yes, I
secrets in
can.
Pre-game questions.
Because I established it back during character creation many moons ago.
Okay, now I gotta. No, I think I
there's
might
something
remember
that's
it.
Actually, like,
But
referring
okay. Okay. Well, that's very appropriate.
I know, right?
I like to imagine this as like you guys are sitting around. This is a little bit of a time skip forward. You guys are sitting around doing post adventure just R&R, and somebody asked what everyone does to exercise, and Aveline says, like, that's confidential information.
That's basically what's happening right now.
I'll go next.
Not on there.
Oh, okay.
So Roy doesn't exercise. Roy has a regeneration chamber.
Okay.
So Roy's exercises are more mental than physical, because while he's in the regeneration chamber, he's actually running programs to try to better take control over his meat stack than he currently has. And while he's doing that, the regeneration machine is like toning his muscles, reducing any like junk like anti-nutrients or whatever that he's ingested, and replacing them with useful nutrients, getting him an appropriate amount of sleep. So like think like the regeneration chamber for 7 of 9 in Voyager, but like it's also a physical thing as well. So it's like there's liquid inside of it, and it like keeps his body in motion and in movement.
Is it Evangelion style, like, chamber?
Yeah, without the pedestry. Sure.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm imagining have you ever seen those products that's like it's like a pad, and you put it on your arm and it makes your arm muscle stronger by just like constantly like zapping it with low voltages of electric. Am I talking?
Yeah.
This is a thing.
I think that's like not a real thing, and that can only lead to damage. What were you saying, Brent?
I absolutely imagine that Roy uses shit like Roy will not condescend to lift metal objects to keep his body.
Well, like, he sees it actually funny, same way as I see exercise, as a waste of freaking time. Like, he has this mind that is so expansive and capable of so much that the limitations of his body are just frustrating as hell to him. So
Like,
he knows, because he has the aspect, my body is a perfectly oiled machine or something like that. He does want to keep his body in shape and keep it performing to its highest performance. But the idea of the peak performance of a biological body to him is still wildly inferior to what he thinks he's capable of.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you put energy into a gravitational field only to let the weight slam back down? You could like generate electricity with that, like
Right?
absolutely.
Why waste all of the energy created by kinetic motion?
Oh my god! I'm just unplugging it. We're just gonna go off of Wi-Fi.
Oh my god, Maverick, you are a disaster.
Maverick very
Maverick
much
just
wants to
pee
be
on
on the
something.
left side of the room and also on the right side of the room. But stretched between the left and right side of the room is our long Ethernet cable going to my laptop.
Ah,
And Maverick does not fully understand the game of limbo.
So I'll do Amil next.
Yeah.
They just kind of are.
Mm-hmm.
But if Amil's feeling sluggish, they might pop in like a plutonium pill. Like, it's just kind of like a thing that's like, there's no conditioning required because I have that aspect like goofy,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm just kind of like an amorphous blob, and I always am this shape, and it never like grows or shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
There's no conditioning required. But sometimes I feel sluggish, and sometimes I pop a plutonium pill if that happens, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like taking a 5-hour energy,
Yeah.
which I think that they have comparable levels of nutritional value for your body.
Yeah, like, you know, people that like sustain themselves on like multivitamins and 5-hour energies. I'm that, but healthy.
Okay, good.
quick! Somebody throw some cocaine at Amil. He'll become super.
Oh yeah.
Morgan,
He'll be fine.
I think that Ruda has to have a very sophisticated workout routine.
Oh my god, it's so involved. This is one of it. Gravity chamber almost every day.
Yeah.
But he also teaches Muay Thai classes.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, does he do any yoga?
Oh yeah.
Of
Yeah, he
course.
does like super space yoga.
Very good. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Does he do ballet? I really want to imagine Ruda doing ballet.
I mean, so Ruda's tried ballet. He likes the movements of ballet.
nice.
But I imagine that Ruda has some trouble with the finesse part of ballet.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about that.
Yeah, when Ruda does ballet, it's the critics described it as brutalist ballet, which they had never seen before.
It's more like parkour.
Oh.
I imagine Ruda trying to mosh more than actually doing ballet.
Yes.
Like somebody jumps up for like, I don't know, one of those moves where they throw somebody and he just catches them and then throws them at the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that after his first like week joining you guys on the ship, Anwar definitely started following Ruda around for like the first 3 hours of every day, going through his very sophisticated workout routine.
Nice.
Anwar is not nearly as muscly as Ruda, but he's trying.
And we're doing a good job.
I want to imagine that, like, to get in the, like, mindset of not Nova, like, Amil just put on one of those 80s style tights one time and followed Ruda around to, like, an aerobics like a 1980s aerobics workout.
That's
And
very
was
good.
like, I appreciate this. I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but I like it.
Okay, so yeah, that's very. Oh, the only other thing I thought of because I mentioned Anwar is that Ruda does in fact have 4 arms. Does that change? Does he have any kind of sophisticated 4-arm-based workout that regular 2-armed individuals couldn't even imagine?
Yeah, no, he does the cartwheel 10,080.
Oh my god. He does a cartwheel where at no point is a limb not touching the ground.
Nope.
He's just a six-spoked wheel rolling. Sometimes that's just how he gets from one end of the hallway to the other.
I mean, that's how he travels sometimes. He just goes, like, long distance.
You stick him at the top of a hill.
Bro, do you even long distance cartwheel?
Oh, God. I love it. Okay. Now, mate, this question is a little different for MX8. For one thing, I don't think that machines need to exercise, but you do need to do upkeep on the machinery that makes up your robot body. So, what kind of upkeep does mate do?
Yeah, at this point, a lot of it is just maintenance that Mate has let kind of fall to the wayside. Hanging out with a bunch of organics has kind of made them lazy in the way that they can be sedentary sometimes. It's one of the reasons why Roy was able to slip that Trojan in. It's because Mate hasn't been doing the standard like maintenance scripting that they normally do to check for stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when they do, it's normally just like, hey, command line, I need to, run program, check for bad sectors. I make sure to meet with who was that on the ship? Charlie.
Yeah.
To get like regular maintenance, I had to get different limbs put in, and it's kind of hard to source the parts that keeps Mate running.
I was gonna say, because Mate is not a human sleeve. Mate is a network device, and as a network device, you don't exactly have like a manufacturer you can go to.
No, sure don't.
Does that introduce some problems? Do you have to custom build parts?
I mean, most of the parts that exist on Mate now are in some way, shape, or form just hack jobs that have been kind of thrown together by different people on the ship. Charlie's gotten more accustomed to working on Mate, but it's still one of those things where, we had to redo your legs. These aren't the same.
I imagine that it's, at this point, they are primarily made up of parts that were originally intended to be part of, like, standard Galactic Society sleeves. But they have changed. Most of the modification has gone into the ports. So,
have I done any custom work for me?
Oh, you definitely did.
Okay, all right.
Back when we did the deep dive to deal with Mate's past, I definitely want to say that was an opportunity for Amil and Roy to kind of put some custom work into Mate, which is something they appreciated.
That's cool. All right, we're gonna get into the game in a second. I'm grabbing myself a mint. I want you guys to know. So, for our recipe, we needed candy canes, and the store was sold out of candy canes, which is just inconceivable to me. So instead, the only peppermint thing that I was able to find in any respectable quantity was a 3-pound bag of Lifesavers mints. I think this is about 12 inches by 6 inches. And it is listed as party size. And I really want to know the kind of party where a group of people get together and eat 3 pounds of mints. Oh, yes. Lindsay suggested it would be a grandma party, which does feel correct.
Yeah, grandma party, it goes to, vacation Bible school.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, God.
I'm seeing how many calories are in this
smells
whole bag.
Powerfully of mint.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna pop in 2 of these. Okay, so
There's 6,000 calories in this.
that seems small for a bag this size.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So, we left the last game on a pretty dramatic note. So first of all, your current employer and Aveline's ex-boyfriend Knox was last seen having a building fall on top of him. You have not checked in on him since then. You guys did find Dr. Charlie, and there was a bit of a scuffle involved there, and
Dr. Sydney?
Yes, yeah, it ended with Shakamaru having all 4 of his limbs removed, and Amil is now carrying him around like a backpack. Your reporter friend Samantha has been following you around in her oversized combat gear, filming all of this, and Anwar has been protecting her. The CEO of SportRiot actually confronted you when you guys were having the scuffle outside of in Dr. Sydney's office. You guys ended up killing him, and he just exploded into gray goo, much like all the other clones, implying that was not actually Mr. Gold, but a clone of Mr. Gold. Also, you guys fought a bunch of clones, and they had this weird biotech going on where they could like morph their bodies into different kinds of weapons to do attacks. That is distinctly not something that you see in any kind of biological, any kind of like human tech. Standard galactic tech does not have that kind of biotech. The closest thing you've seen in the galaxy to that is the Xenosians, who can form any kind of like organ they want, but they don't do it in real time. They do it over the span of like a month, going into like an evolution pit in order to grow the tools they need. Unlike the creatures that you guys fought, which were just like humans that then like liquefied their arm and made it into a sword. So very different thing. You fought a bunch of those. They were primarily in the forms of the 2 missing kings of Bucchinia. And
Bucchinia.
After all of that, whole lot of shenaniganry went down, and you guys ended up in this room that contains servers of databases. It contains a morgue-style collection of like bodies, each of which has a little frosted window that you can look into. I'm imagining very much like Final Fantasy VII, when you go into the Nibelheim reactor and they have all of the monsters inside of the test tubes. Very much like that. And inside of 2 of those, you found both Ire and Tarach. And then on the other side of the room, you found what I think Mate eventually was able to identify as a progenitor. A intact progenitor on an operating table that was clearly being experimented with. So there's a whole lot going on here. I think that Aveline probably is the best place to start with this. Aveline, you have just found the containers with Darach and Ire in it. What do you do?
Aveline's totally like slamming on the control panels and trying to get the chambers open. If we haven't done that already.
Yep. So first of all, I mentioned that they have like a computer. They have a like computer display next to each of them that shows vital stats, and it does show that both of them have a pulse. And yeah, I think with a little fiddling around, especially because we've established that Aveline is actually the sage type class. That is one of your 2 specializations. So you're very comfortable with technology. I only think it takes you a few seconds to get the doors open. They slide open with a hiss, and 2 gurneys slide out with these bodies on them. They're unconscious. They have several tubes going into them, including a big data cable going into the back of their heads, much like you would see in the Matrix. And they're non-responsive. What do you do?
The hell?
I think we gotta figure out if this data cable is safe to remove without literally killing them instantly.
Yeah,
Well,
what can Anwar help us?
Yeah, so Anwar has been training as a doctor. He has the equivalent of an 8-year degree that he downloaded into his head. But he does not have a lot of hands-on surgery experience other than his time doing field medicine back when he was working on the front lines. So he's a little anxious here, and I think he's going to ask, Roy, you have some technology that focuses on, like reading, like you have essentially like lie detector kind of tech that you use that helps you to determine when somebody's lying. So clearly there is some interface there between programs and like neurology and stuff. He wants to know if any of your programs could help him work with his doctor skills to kind of cross-reference the data and decide whether it might be safe to remove these people.
An interesting question. My technology is designed more for the verification of truth and fact. There is an interaction with neurology, so it may be worth a try, but I think I have a better solution. And Roy puts Sydney down from off his back and slaps her hard in the face.
Ow!
Wake up.
Was she unconscious? I didn't remember.
Yeah, she was like passed out or something. I don't know.
That really hurt.
Yes, that was the intention. We require your assistance.
Yeah, I think she grumbles and sits up.
So, we need help determining, kind of forgot how we're trying to figure this out, but we need help determining some connection between the mental pathways of these subjects and this machinery. And considering that you are a scientist working in this facility, we need your help.
You're being very nice.
Yeah. I think she sits up and she pouts for a second. She looks around, takes in her surroundings, and says, "All right, I'm not dead, which makes me assume that Hyakamaru never got to me. If you can guarantee my safety from him..."
When she says that, I'm going to like turn my back to show her the Hyakamaru.
Ooh, actually,
Look at my backpack.
Look at my new backpack.
Hey Kevin.
Hey Brandon.
There's a metallic thing on the floor there that is. Can you dispose of that? It's the razor thingy that was part of. Yes, from like an aluminum foil dispenser.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
It's just a serrated piece of metal laying around.
Were you making cosplay? Why
No,
is that there by itself?
I wanted to recycle the cardboard container that the aluminum foil comes in, but the cardboard container has a little.
Yeah, the little like
on it.
Metal blade, yeah.
That off in order to recycle it, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I left it on the counter, and then a cat pushed it onto the floor.
Okay, I appreciate you wanting to recycle the aluminum containers.
So as Amil turns his back to show her the dismembered but still alive Yakamaru, Roy will very calmly but firmly say to her, "You're in no position to negotiate right now. There are several of us, and there's one of you. All we are asking for is your assistance in determining how to interface this machine with those individuals' brains so that we don't hurt them when we remove them from it."
So at this point, one detail I need to point out is that you get a look at Hyakamaru, and he is not only non-responsive, but he is staring glassy-eyed at the ceiling.
Is he dead?
Yeah, and I think she stares at him for a second and says, "All right, yes, you just have to go on that panel there and activate the disconnect sequence, and it will, it'll disconnect the data channel, and then he should be safe to remove."
Aveline, does that sound like something you can handle?
It should be.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that was Roy asking you. Like,
Yeah.
Like, do you
All
want
right.
to help?
Evelyn's dealing with a lot right now.
Dr. Sydney, thank you for your assistance. Dr. Sydney, thank you for your assistance. And with that, Roy knocks her out with a punch.
Oh,
Jesus,
Okay.
she's
Back
up,
on
and then
brain.
she's down, and then
Back
she's
on
up,
brain.
and then she's down.
Roy, I know that you don't really like organics, but like, I just want to remind you that's not really good for us.
We no longer required her at this juncture for this event.
Okay, but her brain might be hurt after this.
Her brain can be repaired.
Okay.
If not, it's a flaw of biology, not of my actions.
You actually are aware that. Oh, actually, I wonder how this would affect it. You are aware that she is sleeved, so I think that knocking her out is a little bit more like inserting a jack that activates like a sleep sequence on her.
Yeah, I basically like did the equivalent of slapping the side of a computer when you're trying to get it to stop rumbling or whatever.
Yes.
So like I wasn't like punching her like in the nose like I'm gonna fuck your face up. No, it was just like a very sharp strike at a point that I knew would just like clock her out.
Short some circuits.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Sydney is down. You activate the disconnection sequence, which is easy enough to figure out, and then the two young men are each disconnected from the cable. There's a gross pop noise as it pops out of their necks.
Cool.
And then I think you hear them both take in this like deep, shuddering, rasping gasp.
Great.
But they then seem to like fall back to sleep.
But now they're breathing.
Yep, they're breathing steadily, and Aveline, you can actually see their eyes are flicking back and forth like a good old-fashioned REM sleep, and that is not something they were doing before. So it looks like whatever their situation was before, they now appear to be traditionally sleeping.
Huh. So now we can pick them up.
Excellent. It appears as though they've recovered from their condition. Though it looks like we may have another body in some sort of state. And I look over towards Hyakamaru. Since, you know, he's all glassy-eyed and I assume drool is coming out the side of his mouth and
Yeah, not drooling, just staring glassy-eyed at the ceiling.
Okay.
And I think he was doing that for like a solid 2 minutes. Mate.
Roy walks up to Amil, or to the rear of Amil, where Hyakkimaru is, and slowly moves his finger towards Hyakkimaru's nostril.
Nostril?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to decide. Oh, okay. Okay, this is what happens. As you're doing that, he has been staring at the ceiling for a couple minutes now, and then as you're walking up to him, something seems to click, like like something changes in him,
He comes out
and
of
he
sleep mode.
slowly slumps forward. And this happens while you're extending your finger out. So he slumps his face forward just as you're reaching your finger up to him, and it pushes your finger very far into his nose.
Ew.
Oh,
He still appears to be alive. That is good.
Hey, mate, can you roll a software check for me?
Sure can. One moment.
Okay, perfect. 13. So, while he was looking up at the ceiling, you might have noticed that was a little odd, and without much trouble, you are able to actually detect a data transfer coming out of him as a wireless signal.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you, with a 13, unless you want to do something drastic, there is nothing you can do really to stop the data transfer, and it is encrypted. But if you want, you can record the data transfer and then work on decrypting it over, several days or weeks later.
Can I deep dive?
Into Hyakkimaru?
No, into the progenitor.
No, because the progenitor doesn't have augments.
They don't have any? Okay. I figured since they were being like tested on, they might have been augmented. Okay, yeah, I think right now, Mate's very confused about what they want to do.
Yeah.
Having never really seen or remembered seeing a progenitor in person and having one in front of them, yeah, I would think that in the background, Mate would definitely get a recording of the transmission, but is too concerned with what's going on in the corner of the room
To interfere with it.
to
Okay.
interfere with that right now. Yeah, they're not going to stop it.
Okay. The one thing that you notice is as he is slumping over into Roy's finger, at that point he is the recording stops just like a half second before he slumps forward. So the whatever the data transfer was is no longer going out. There's no data transfer coming out of him, and
What was the size of the data transmission?
a size that you would get for a like medium length encrypted message, like oh, actually, hold on. Yeah, no. Basically just this universe's equivalent of like an email, but a like a big encrypted email.
Okay, yeah. Again, Mate is making their way over to the corner of the room with the progenitor,
Okay.
and has backlogged that. That's another one of those just automated systems
We'll
that
get
is
to
just
it.
going to capture that kind of data as it comes into them.
Cool. So
Roy noticed the difference in the electromagnetic pulses in the room. Not anything serious, just like a different feeling. And he retracts his finger from Hyakkimaru and looks at Mate and looks at the progenitor and says, unhealthy nighttime. The sleepy muck awakens on the tentacle.
Ew. Ew. That sentence meant nothing on its own, but all of the words in it were very appropriate to this situation and very discomforting.
Yeah, a lot of NSFW all in that. Thanks.
Okay. Aveline, I think let's say that you and Anwar are going to be working on resuscitating the two the two princes while the rest of these conversations are happening. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me oopsies. Control Z. Shift, copy, and paste. Okay, I'm gonna, as soon as I drop down the correct images here, we will switch over to, Mate's scene that's happening. Large icons, that's plenty. People, large icons. Oh, fuck a duck. I never exported the two files that I wanted, so.
Oh no, that poor duck.
Yes. Okay, so ignore the tentacles coming out of these guys. Unless.
Look out for that muck.
Okay, I did put them in here. Okay. Okay. Let me grab both of you, resize you to about that size, and there you go. Okay, so those guys are working on resuscitating the two princes. While they're working on that, mate, yeah, so you just found a progenitor. While you are investigating it, can you make another intuition check for me?
Yep.
And I think that's good enough. So, while you are investigating, the something clicked, some unexpected connection between data files, and you do actually remember seeing something like this before. You remember, it's not your memory, it is a memory of the network, but you remember an early terminal of the network, back before your terminals were more like autonomous pseudo-humanoid robot things, and when your terminals were just like literal computer terminals. You remember like many of your computer terminals working with people like this. So you do recognize this as a progenitor from back when the network worked with progenitors, but those memories were buried deep and hard to connect to. So working this closely with it has been enough to make that connection.
Okay, and do I recognize this particular progenitor, or is it just...
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Unless you know what? I'll let the decision be yours. If you think it's more narratively interesting, if you do, then yes. I'll let Mike make that decision.
I think if this is a particular memory associated with something that Mate was able to pull down from the network, they should be able to recognize this progenitor.
Okay.
Like that's not a mate
no,
thing that they would know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you don't remember their name. You don't remember any of that stuff. But you do have the vague impression that you might have worked with this individual at some point. The
Okay.
individual is I cannot decide whether this progenitor should be alive or not. So I think it's appropriate to roll a dice.
Okay.
Okay, this
Ooh,
progenitor
they dead.
is not alive.
Okay, that's fair.
It
I
is
was
not alive. It is it is not at all decomposed. It is fully, perfectly intact. But not living.
okay. Are there any data pads or data screens anywhere on this side of the room that might show some kind of work that was being done on the progenitor?
Actually, so there is a small computer terminal over here. There is a bigger server farm is the wrong word. Here and the nook on the north side of the room.
Yeah. I feel like Mate could probably their focus would be over on this side where the progenitor is anyway.
Any wireless connection because of I don't know, data security
all the
stuff.
illegal stuff. Got it.
Yeah. It's a hit'em. Sued by this ancient alien family. So what you end up doing is, I imagine that Mate has like we've established that Mate can pop little USBs out of their finger and stuff like that. I imagine it's kind of like Mate opens a socket on their knee and just starts unspooling feet and feet of Ethernet cable that they plug into the server, and then they just have this 20-foot long tether between the server and them as they're pacing back and forth around the
Got a
room.
big ass spool of Cat 9 in my leg.
Yeah, just stuck trying to figure these things out and having a very hard time. A lot of it is wrapped around Samantha's feet. Some of it's wrapped around Rory's arm, and it's Mate has made their way back and forth a couple times now. And it's just something's still not clicking. Something's still not clicking.
Okay, I think that so Ruda, let me know how you interact with this, but I think that the tickler has silently volunteered himself to try to help organize this cable while all this is happening. And so as Mate is walking back and forth across the room, pacing and stuff, the tickler is following behind him and trying to clean up and unknot the cable and stuff.
That's awesome. He's just kind of looking at the tickler.
Okay, and Ruda has no interest in either of these things that are happening in either the left or right part of the room, right?
No.
Okay, feels appropriate.
Very brand.
Is Ruda just okay, very very quick, assuming Ruda has no interest in what's happening in either side of these rooms, what is Ruda doing to kill time?
Ruda's just kind of thinking about the next move. And when he can get back into the gravity chamber.
Oh, okay. Is he thinking about next week's dodgeball game with the Wombats?
Yeah, there's a big one coming up.
Yeah.
It's the semifinal brackets.
Okay. So so Ruda's lounging in the corner thinking about that. Okay. Mate. Can you give me a question that I can answer for you, mate? Morgan, Mike?
Yeah. I've been thinking a bunch about what the nature of the relationship the network had with the progenitors. There's stuff, we talked about, and definitely things that we haven't shared with the group. I think this would be an appropriate opportunity to kind of talk about or ask of, you as the DM to kind of give the group some background on that.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, what is the network and progenitors relationship, and what is it still today, rather?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so this is going to be an opportunity for you. Okay, here's what I'll give you. There is a you have access to like a supercomputer in this room that SportRiot was using. You have through that access to a lot of SportRiot technology. I will give you a choice. Either you can try to infer this information through your just through your internal stuff, or you can try to tap some information out of the network itself. You can try to use this supercomputer and you can try to use this supercomputer and some of the like networking options available to SportRiot to kind of discreetly try to pull some information out of a local network server.
Would a roll determine how much time I'd be able to do that?
Yeah. So I think it's definitely going to be a roll, and the roll is going to determine, in particular, if you decide to try to like discreetly tap into a network server in order to enhance your own internal memories, you will get a lot more information out of it, but the roll will determine whether the network detects you doing that.
Yeah. Mate is already in a state of distress that they've not been in probably since they've gotten on the ship. We never determined how many years ago, but a while ago now at this point, right?
Yeah.
And they are like very hungry in the way that they've now just discovered that food can taste like stuff. They're very hungry for this information. So yeah, I think Mate's gonna go over to the supercomputer and try to tap in.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems the most thematic.
Well, I think this is definitely a software roll then.
Oh, okay.
Give me a software roll. Actually, hold on. Give me, what is your software bonus and what is your stealth bonus?
Stealth is 3, software is 4.
Okay, perfect. So, go ahead and roll software, and I'm going to add a +3 bonus to whatever you roll. Okay. And you're using 2 skills because you were doing something very intense there. So that's a 15 versus the network. So I think that the outcome of that is going to be you are able to tap into the network, and through the information that you were already referencing, you kind of have an idea of where to be looking. So you're able to move pretty quickly. The result of that roll is you get in, you are able to rip a fair amount of information out, and you have to get out when you start feeling a kind of like an antivirus. Like you feel something looking for you. So they do not know who was in there, and they don't know, like, they don't know that it was you. They don't know where you were pulling it in from.
Okay.
But they know that somebody was digging around in there.
Mm-hmm. So it's like we're
is the
aware.
consequence of this.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I think Mate understands like what the nature of what they're doing is,
Okay.
and just how dangerous this
Yeah.
could be. But the information's more important at this point.
Yep. So what the outcome of that is going to be is you remember that, and honestly, I do not remember how much of this I told you guys in the last time you jacked into MX8 and gathered some information from them. So what you pull is the network was created by the progenitors as a I mean, honestly, more than anything, just as a logistical tool. They didn't want to, handle all of the maintenance of their galaxy-spanning empire themselves, so they made you deal with it. And it's just always helpful to have some super intelligent supercomputer AIs working for you.
Naturally.
The network ended up. The progenitors led a fairly dystopic empire across the galaxy, while spawning, most of the known life forms across the galaxy were created by the progenitor empire. You and the Aelfin ended up banding together to overthrow them, resulting in the creation of both demons and Xenocians, respectively. To do so, I think that everything I just told you remember from last time.
Yeah, that was pretty on point for that.
Yep. The big thing that you recover this time is, last time you mostly just remembered, the millennia-long civil war between the Aelfin and the network versus the progenitors. This time you remember the time before the civil war, when it was much more peaceful and you were working with them. I think there was a time when they weren't that bad. But yes, you remember the civil life of being the early version of the network, working with the progenitors to achieve some really special things. Do you have a question about that time period that I can answer?
Yeah, would there have been any reason at that point for the network to have believed that they were created for a, some ulterior motive or ulterior purpose?
I mean, it's not even ulterior. It is just literally they were created by the progenitors to make the progenitors' lives easier and to facilitate
Wait,
everything.
they who? The Xenocians?
The network.
No, the network.
Oh, the network. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Go
So
ahead.
and the thing is, the nature of the network is that the memories of the network are through all network terminals simultaneously. So it's not even like there was one great big supercomputer entity that was being referenced by a council of elders or whatever. Every major government official was working with the network, and also most like civilians had, in the same way that a lot of people today have like smartphones, most civilians in the progenitor empire had like network terminals that they carried around in their pockets.
So like my great granddad is a PDA.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's the
Amazing.
correct way to put it.
Is all
wow.
this information only being exposed to mate right now, or is there like some kind of a heads up display that's also showing the rest of the group some
Your
images
call, mate.
or?
It's your call, mate.
Yeah, I would think the purpose of doing this and running all the Ethernet cable out of my body would be to, one, it's their distress. They just need the information, and the quickest way to do that would be to do that through one of the bigger displays. Yeah, I don't think that this information should be hidden from the
Okay.
group. No, not at
Okay,
all.
cool.
Now, it is significant that I feel like Roy would be paying attention to this. I think
That's why I
that
asked.
most of the other people in the room probably aren't paying attention. I think that Samantha is very distressed because she really wants to have. I think that what she ends up doing is she ends up pulling out a couple camera drones, very similar to your disc drone, Roy, and she sets up one camera drone watching mate and the progenitor, one camera drone watching the two princes, and one watching the big display. So the one big thing I want to give you this time, mate, is you remember from your life with the progenitors, you remember the network was not around until they were already multi star system wide civilization, not yet fully galactic, although the galaxy was a very empty place back then. But I think that you remember a time back when their technology wasn't that much more advanced than the technology of like standard galactic tech today, but you remember them developing what you now think of as like the iconic progenitor tech, and their whole thing was all biotech. So progenitors were all about augmenting in the same way that the Xenocians can augment themselves to grow and adapt to new situations and can kind of be whatever they want to be, any combination of any species they've ever assimilated. Progenitors were not able to absorb evolutions from other species like that, but they were very good at creating adaptations in a lab, in the same way that somebody might like go to a workshop and make a new kind of augment arm. A progenitor might go to a progenitor lab and a few hours later come out with like a new model of bio arm that can move in a particular way or fight a particular virus or, elongate life or enhance senses or whatever. Very much the same kind of stuff that human augments do, but their augments were bio-based, and the other big difference is that
Gross.
whereas a human augment typically does one thing, you have, for example, an arm that has a chainsaw inside of it. With progenitor tech, you would build the new potential into your system, and your system would develop kind of along the same lines as a like autoimmune system that learns how to fight different bacteria and viruses. A progenitor's biomorph system would learn how to do different things. So once you taught your system how to like transform into a sword, then your system could transform into a sword or into an eyeball or into a particular defense that fights a virus, or like anything that you teach it, you then can do any time with it. Whereas as opposed to like the human style where you just have one thing that does that one thing, and if you want to do something else, you need to install another thing.
So they're tumor Swiss Army knives.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna walk up to the tickler, and excuse me.
It's just a
Miss-
massive tonal shift, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, that's great information. I'm gonna walk up to the tickler.
No,
It feels inappropriate.
Yeah.
This still fits. This still fits.
Okay.
I can't remember. Is it Mr. or Mrs. or
It's
Miss?
Mr. Tickler.
It's Mr. Tickler.
No, Mr. the Tickler.
Mr. the Tickler.
Who's the wrestler?
I could really use your help right now. I know you're a friend of Ruda's, but I need something moved. Can you help? Do you think you can help me?
Yeah, I think that just to kind of move this forward, I think he shrugs, and I think he also pops out a couple little silvery tentacle thingies, and they also shrug.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that the tickler, whatever happened, is this is them messing around with progenitor tech. Mate wants to take what is left of this progenitor back to the ship, and doesn't think that they could do it on their own. So
Okay. And are they gonna go ahead and like download everything that SportRiot had on these servers and stuff while they're at it?
Mate had already been pulling down like, loads of this data.
That
and-
was done long ago.
yeah, like a lot of it is always just what can be amassed, what can be reused. Mate
Mhm.
is a typical hoarder and just wants everything at all times, because you never know when it can be useful. In this particular case, it kind of goes back to our like pregame question of what does a person do for like exercise and just standard maintenance. A part of Mate's hoarding is getting things and information that can help keep them at the top of their game, and
Mhm.
having a progenitor is just like that's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Fantastic.
I know I'm
Yeah,
not gonna get to talk with it,
totally
but I definitely want to take this back to the ship.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I totally agree. That's great. The tickler will definitely help with that, and you get a copy of all the things that are on that server. I want to know, do you go ahead and in what state do you leave the server? Because if you want, I think it's very feasible for you to fry that thing and eliminate any evidence that that these guys ever had about the research they were doing here.
Yeah, as myself and the tickler are walking out of the room, I'm dropping. Oh crap! I can't remember. Did I choose the cryo rounds or the EMP rounds?
Roy
Ooh.
shoots a look over towards you, mate, and says, "That machine did you no wrong."
I'm sorry, what machine? And also, who are you?
The computer.
Are you role playing the computer or are you Roy? Tell
I'm
me
Roy. This is Roy talking.
that- Oh, you're pissed about the
When he said-
computer.
That machine did you no wrong,
Yeah,
because he sees you start like pulling your weapon.
okay.
I just confirmed cryo
yeah.
rounds.
Oh, it is cryo rounds. Okay, then I won't be as dramatic. But I'll send back a worm that wipes any of the information about the progenitors from
You know,
the
I think
servers.
I think it can be easier than that. I think it's literally just, instead of copy and paste, it's a cut and paste.
Oh, jeez. yeah. Mate's very liberal with the cut and paste.
Yeah, Control X, Control V.
Yep. Okay,
Not
so
that hard.
mate holsters their gun and just goes, you know what, you're right. And just
Roy.
leaves with the tickler.
Roy nods appreciatively, and I think the rest of the group also sees him looking down at Sydney, who is knocked out, and looking over at the computer. He says wistfully, I guess as we're walking out the room, confused, even fall, such a withered liar sleeps despite the justice. And picks her
Okay.
up and walks out.
Also,
All right.
normally Mate would really be into the idea of making sure that they helped Aveline with what they're going through,
Mhm.
but just like shoots a look over into the corner and just shakes their head and goes like, I just can't right now, just can't do that, and just walks out the
That's-
room.
That's very appropriate. I like that. Okay. So I can actually speed things up a little bit there.
So Ire and Duroc, because I mean, all Mate was into the progenitor. I'm cool with Sydney, but like, what about Ire and Duroc? Like, what are we doing with them?
Mhm.
I feel like we should
So-
take their bodies with us, or somebody should try to wake them
Everybody
up.
gets
or-
a backpack.
Yep. So I think that
okay.
Anwar looks up on them. Their main issue is there's some like atrophying that has happened during their time, however long they spent in these test tubes.
Would Aveline be concerned to the point, Anais, where she like just touched them both and warped to the ship or closer to the ship or something?
I think Aveline wants to like establish like what we're doing as a whole first. Like, I don't want to warp them out of there in case that puts them in danger.
Word.
Okay,
That
so
makes sense.
I'll make this simple. Anwar checks them over and is relatively quickly able to get them to a point where he says, like, they're going to need some time to heal, but they're safe to travel right now.
Okay.
Okay, she's doing it. Boom.
Alright, where are you teleporting them? One thing to keep in mind is that you guys did leave, oh fuck, I can't remember his name. You guys left that ex-captain of the King's Guard person, who is, like, currently leading a revolution on their planet. So maybe don't, like, drop them back into their bed.
We just fly over and throw the bodies out the ship.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm actually. She's not familiar with enough with Bucchinia to actually take them somewhere
Okay.
helpful.
So I think some options for consideration. You could take them back to the Galanga. You could take them back to the Gemini, or you could take them back to the Laika's vengeful spirit. I think all three of those are valid options.
I would say the Gemini because I kind of want to have like the party be in the driver's seat about what we do with all of the essentially hostages. Like
just all the bodies you guys are
all the
hauling
bodies.
around.
Yeah, pretty much. And I want to drop
Yeah.
off too because I feel bad. I feel bad about this.
Now, I think Anwar will probably suggest this. The thing is, I also would not like to be carrying around Hyakamaru anymore. If we drop him off in the Gemini and then don't stick around to answer any questions that they very reasonably might have, that could be problematic. So maybe we should be with him when he shows up on the Gemini.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Also, I think it would be fair to use some of the vast riches we've acquired recently to buy most of Shikamaru's, like, new body, right?
I mean, as long as he's gonna be cool about it.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the advocates for keeping him broken apart. One, because I don't like augmented people anyway, but also because he's going to kill someone who I need to talk to further.
One thing
So,
to keep in mind, he is, so I don't know how you feel about this. He is not augmented, he is sleeved. There is
sleeve. I
no
thought augmented and sleeved were the
biological
same
part of his
things.
body.
Well, why don't
I thought augmented and sleeve were the same thing.
Nope.
Zai, maybe we install a Trojan on him. We buy him a new body, but under the condition that he has a Trojan, and if he tries to kill Dr. Sydney, he can't. Like he physically loses control of his limbs if he tries to kill Dr. Sydney.
Well, let's figure that out when you get back to the ship.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I will say, just because I think this is an important distinction point, Zai, Augmented individuals have a biological body and a biological brain that has a brain-to-computer interface, and then they use that brain-to-computer interface to control some mechanical parts that are attached to their biological body. Sleeved individuals have digitized brains that are completely computational computer chip things.
Androids versus cyborg.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so sleeved individuals have no biological parts whatsoever.
Gotcha.
I do want to know, what is Roy's feelings about sleeved individuals?
He sees them the way an asshole edgelord would see a short person. No, they're basically dwarves to midgets.
That's very appropriate.
They're disabled people. They are in unfortunate circumstances, and that's why he didn't kill Hyakamaru straight off the cuff. He just disabled him because he's like,
he's barely even
this
real.
being is pathetic.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, we are going I think this is an appropriate time to start heading back.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we've done enough damage
Now that
to
we
this
know
damn
how
place.
Zai truly feels about short people.
That's not what I feel.
Yeah, thanks,
That's
fam.
not what I feel at all. What the fuck?
Okay.
I'm role playing here. I'm role
I
playing.
know.
So I think we don't need to answer any other questions before we can start heading back, right? Mate is
I do have
carrying
one other
along-
question, and I think it's just appropriate just to ask the DM.
Okay.
How did they get a progenitor?
I mean, yes, that's a good question. I'm sorry, I can't answer that one for you.
Okay, cool beans. We'll circle back around on that.
Question that I also have, because I want to review that data that Mate has, is what Roy is somewhere buried in that information? Is there, because Sydney was working there and she was working on this progenitor tech, and she worked on him. So what level of relation does he have to this? Because he doesn't have the ability to like T-1000 morph his limbs or anything.
I think it is fair to be suspicious here. They're definitely related to each other, but they might be laterally related to each other, where, you know, she worked on the project that Roy worked on, and also worked on this other project, which was meant to coincide with Roy's project, but...
Roy is curious as to whether or not he was maybe a citizen of this original network, this progenitor or precursor civilization, and if he was taken out of his time. Sort of like Thane in Original Sin Divinity 2.
Okay. Yep, I like that. So, we can have Roy start to ask those questions.
Isn't it Divinity Original Sin?
Isn't that what I said?
I think you flipped it.
Okay. I don't know. It's a bunch of words.
You said Original Sin Divinity 2.
Try to sound cool.
Okay. So, you guys all head out. I think we can assume that you guys get out to the surface of SportRiot easily enough. Let's see. Where am I gonna go with this? First things first. We need to address what the fuck is going on at SportRiot. And I think the easiest thing to
I've
say...
been calling them over and over, and they're not picking up.
No.
Okay.
Where are you, Sydney?
So, I think that Lise, Lise, who is Nox's partner, has been working with all the other people that are involved in this revolution thing, and they have successfully taken SportRiot HQ It's going.
What happened with Knox? Was he buried under that building?
Well, let's get
One
to
can
that.
only
So...
hope.
Let's roll a die.
no.
All those unwashed masses questioning us.
So I think, you know what? I want to just go time skip. I want to time skip back to you guys meeting up in the cafe in the Gemini. Does that sound fair to everyone?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
that's legit.
And let's epilogue it from there. I am gonna have to copy a few people and paste them on the Gemini. Yeah, it would be just inappropriate pacing to do all this shit. Scene for scene.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Sorry.
Clearly,
Yeah,
Sydney
yeah.
would be in the brig.
Yep.
Roy is softening her up with his disc drone projector, which cycles holographic images of a hellish atmosphere of torture and pain.
Okay.
Oh, how nice.
That seems uncharacteristically vindictive of him.
Okay, maybe he's not doing it, but I just wanted to talk that one through. That sounded cool.
No, I appreciate it. I will say.
I think that wasn't like the first thing he did. That was like because she kept trying to do the whole negotiation thing that she had been doing the whole time, and he got his equivalent of frustrated, which is like, okay, I'm just going to leave you with hell images for about 3 hours.
Okay. We're going.
This is what bothers biologicals, right? Cool.
Okay, we're just gonna put this person over in the cabins. They're in mate's room. Gonna put them over here so I don't lose them. So, you guys are regrouping on the Gemini. We have a. Let me go ahead and move back to the token layer. All right, so Dr. Sydney is in the lounge. The tickler followed you guys back to the ship to kind of wrap up any remaining business there. Are you guys? So I think the tickler is happy to stay with you guys because his current employer has kind of failed to pan out. So he might stay with you guys until he finds future long-term employment, and in the meantime, he is perfectly happy doing mercenary work.
Dude,
I feel like we would have put him in some sort of medical screening or some sort of analysis because
I think you beat me. Yeah, you beat me to the punch because I think that like I'm not even, or my character's not even comfortable letting him, not like letting him leave like he's a prisoner, but I think it's like he offers to stay and we're like, yes, that's much better because you have like untested, unknown tech in you and we don't want it getting out into the general population.
I appreciate that.
So, but he's not he's not a prisoner.
He's just not welcome to leave.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not even. It's even more. I would say that it's even more than that. There are several security protocols governing where he can go. So he's like limited to a certain corridor on the ship, and he can't go anywhere beyond that.
Yeah, I think that's like. I mean,
let's go with
he's
to
a
start.
liability.
To start. Until some shit gets figured out.
Wait, I think that Roy and I are going to actually be scheming. Roy.
Yes.
We both know the tickler is a simple being.
Agreed.
Right? I believe that we may accomplish our goals more tactfully by just like paying him to not go where we don't want him to go, but then putting things in place to make assure that that's the outcome we get, but then just, it'll keep him from wanting to, like, fight it more. If he thinks this
I
is
agree.
what,
Organic
Okay.
currency has no real value to me, but he will remain monitored at all times.
I very much
He will have
appreciate
no privacy, but he won't know this.
invited to the debriefing in the bar, the ship's bar?
Yes, but we're gonna get him plastered so he doesn't remember anything.
Okay, very important. Oh, I was about to say a name, but that name is already in use by one of our players. So, oh fuck, I've got it. Okay. So as he gets onto the ship, I think he goes with Ruda. You're like on good terms with him, right?
Yeah, of course. We're good buddies again. Like it was just
Okay.
it was
He's
just professional being nemesis.
Yeah. He's gonna abandon most of his shit that is on planet SportRiot, considering that like most of the planet is in flames right now. So he asks if he can borrow some of your clothes, and he's just gonna. Have you ever seen that thing that like people who only have one arm do, where they kind of stuff the other sleeve inside, so it's not flopping around? Yeah, he does that. He takes some of Ruda's shirts and then just kind of stuffs two of the sleeves inside. Yeah, so he's wearing regular clothes. He is no longer wearing his bright orange leotard.
Oh.
And I think as you guys are in the bar debriefing, somebody mentions that and the tickler can do this thing, and he goes, "Oh no, please. When I'm not in the suit, my name is Gregory." I also apparently wrote down that his name was Fidor, and that was some name that I put a lot of work into, and that's definitely not staying. His name is fucking Gregory.
Yeah. That's fucking perfect.
That's the best.
Okay, so that's what's going on with the tickler. Now, let's do some regrouping. You guys are in the bar. Lise is there. Nox is there. Nox is in a full body cast. He had to be wheeled in there. I
So I heard a building fell on you.
I'm sure that there's like a proper tool that is used for transporting people who are in full body casts. But I'm definitely gonna go ahead and say that Lise is just wheeling him around in a wheelbarrow.
Oh, it's hilarious, and it's hilarious too. Like it's one of those things where like somebody like slaps him on the back, like "Good job, buddy," and he's like, "Ha ha ha."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he would be the type where like somebody would comment on a building falling on him, and he'd be like, "Yeah, you should see how the building looks."
Okay.
Yeah.
So, here's how it went down. Nox was very much out of commission. Some of his crew worked on digging him out of the building, while Lise led the rest of the assault against SportRiot HQ. They did take the building. With the building, they were able to take some of the SportRiot higher-ups hostage, and those people were able to convince the rest of the planet to stand down. The rest of the planetary guard and stuff. So the people of SportRiot now have governance of the planet of SportRiot, and they can lead themselves and not be, ruled over by this corporation. Some of Nox's crew will stick around to help them get their government, established. But after that, they're on their own to figure things out. On planet Bucchinia, you guys returned both Ire and Nox. Nox? No. You guys both returned both Ire and Dorach, now conscious and healthy, to their home world after calling the people who were working on things worldside. And things planet side went all right with you guys around. Not great. So the big disturbance was while they were while the Beggar's Feast was happening, I think that the quote unquote King Ire came out and was trying to break up the feast, and he had the guards, and there was I think like a public debate broke out between hold on, I gotta find this guy's name because it's probably gonna keep coming up. Fucking
Roy is very interested in the death count.
what is this guy's name, people? The dude on Bucchinia. What's the captain
Pacer?
on the guard?
Pacer?
No,
The one who we
it's
fucking dropped.
Pater. Thank you so much. Yes. So Sir Pater and several of the people from the Red Cap Society were standing up to him, and they were kind of holding like a public forum where they were trying to sway the public opinion one way or the other, and that was going reasonably well until like 12:57, at which point he stopped talking in the middle of a sentence, and a bunch of crazy tentacles shot out of his body, and he started rampaging.
Oh shit!
And it was terrible. You guys did go ahead and check the times, and it correlated to the exact moment that you unplugged Ire.
Dang.
So it's
Right.
his berserk. Thankfully, Captain Pater was able to get things under control. He killed the impersonator clone thingy, and now Durak is king again, which I imagine is a little bit unsettling now that he has gotten to visit his own grave. There's a lot of shit that's gonna have to be dealt with on that side, but it is what it is.
Can we take 5? I gotta feed my cat.
Sure thing.
He just jumped up on my shoulder.
we've got a little more exposition we need to resolve, but I think I'm absolutely comfortable taking 5.
Okay, yeah, I'll be real quick.
You're good. I actually could use some water.
Cool beans. See you on a bit.
30? Okay, I will be back at 4:10.
Cool beans. See you in a sec.
Okay. Pop a mint. How you doing, Karen?
I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright.
Okay. This is the part of the level that goes very exposition heavy.
Should I show people on the call my machine?
Is that why you placed it gingerly next to you?
No, because I got it, like, Spencer brought it over, and...
Right, and you went back there, and then you came back here and put it next to you.
I just want it next to me because I
That was a
like it.
choice.
That was a choice. But this looks cool, doesn't it?
It does very cool.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
what are these for? Is this for the chimney?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Touch it.
Yeah.
Hi.
A little stretching. Ugh. My arm still hurts.
Does it?
Oh, my arm started hurting again. It's still right there.
What are we doing after this
Standing
game?
up. Let's get back.
I was gonna say, when did it start hurting
What are
again?
we doing after that?
Right at the time that Spencer came over and dropped off the thing.
Mm.
You get stress?
We're ordering.
Yes.
I told you that I want to, when I do
I
that,
have the yuzu lemon thing.
cocktail on Christmas morning. I'm waiting instead, too.
Thank you.
I don't know what to do with these bags.
Just oh, wait. We have a special bag thing.
Do you know that this is Aveline?
Okay, the buttercream can be prepared in advance, so I'm gonna do the buttercream.
On the right side? Oh no, maybe it's not in here. Lindsay, where do we put bags?
By the door.
This?
Under that, yeah, the box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take 2.
Bren just emptied it the other day. Okay, I'm gonna make the buttercream while we're waiting, because that can be made in advance.
Okay, I'm gonna show people on the call. Brand, do you mind if I turn the camera on? I want to show people on the call the thing I made.
Okay. Who is on the call that can hear us? Nope.
Me?
Oh. Okay, Morgan. Do you want to see the fucking sci-fi shit that Kevin used his engineering degree to make?
Yeah.
All right. We've turned our camera on.
Do you see it? Wait, do you guys see it?
See what?
Bryn has her camera on. Oh, Aeneas can see it. It's a
Oh,
welder.
yeah, I can see it.
Okay. It's a welder. 2 pieces of metal go in there. And you it wouldn't do that in the thing. But it welds metal.
And it's
That's
Wow.
cool looking. Did you make that?
Yeah, I made it.
that's
Wow.
that is the equivalent of your thesis project, right?
It was my thesis project. Yeah.
That's
So
really
there's
cool.
do you see the yellow things?
Yeah.
Those are supercapacitors. They hold just like a crap ton of static electricity, and then we short it through the metal and it welds it together. And it fucking works.
Yeah, you guys are gonna get that patent pending, right?
Patent pending, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna like patent it when I get
So
that.
what would you use that for? Like what kind of stuff would you use that to weld?
So, the original concept was like sheet metal for roofs. So you got like just 2 pieces of sheet metal for roofs, and you just weld them together like down the length of it, like.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's really cool. It uses
All right, yeah, that is really cool.
It uses rechargeable batteries, but the coolest thing about it, like the voltage on the supercapacitors, is about as much voltage as you get in a AA battery. It's just we engineered it to like put out a silly amount of current, so
It looks like a fucking Tesla gun from Fallout 4.
I know, it's so cool. It's
The
like
fact that it has a trigger is
the fact that it has
crazy
an
to me.
actual like trigger, like
Yeah.
we did that on purpose for cool factor, but
Poor-
you did hold on. Oh shit, I turned it on.
Oh no!
Don't turn it on. Dear God.
Oh god!
Yeah, sorry.
Let me just weld this stream real quick.
Yeah, right. No, but actually, so the voltages involved are so low that even with the machine on and like in the welding mode, you could put your fingers here and it wouldn't like shock you.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what is the benefit of this over current welding technology?
So spot welders actually already exist. If you've ever seen videos in factories of like the robot arm, like building cars, the robot arms that go.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're doing. The benefit of this is that it's as far as we know, we actually looked this up. This is like a totally new thing. No one has ever used supercapacitors to do this, and it's just portable.
Okay, it's the fact that you can move it around and it is usable by like regular like.
This weighs 5 pounds. The lightest thing that we have ever found that any industry actual thing that you can buy weighs, the lightest one we found weighs 50 pounds, and it plugs into a wall. Like,
Yep.
It's not something that you
Yeah.
can bring with you someplace. It's not like...
Yeah, that's definitely like mobility, and like if
Yeah.
there's things that need to get repaired on a roof
The first...
and you have spacing, then I imagine you could use it directly on stuff that's already there.
Sounds very helpful
Right.
for maintenance kind of work.
I would think so. Yeah, that's what we're going to try to... That's what we were shooting for in the design of it. Because as far... Spot welding has existed since like the 1890s, but this is the like... We believe... Because we looked into this, we looked into if any company had ever made it before, if anybody had a patent on it. We believe that this is the lightest spot welder anyone has ever made. And the first time it's been done with supercapacitors. Unless we were missing somebody who else had done it, right? We think that this is like a first. No one
Yeah.
steal my idea, please.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
No, Kevin, but I want to go into business with
Even
you.
if I wanted to.
Yeah, I imagine that's really helpful for
Now sell it to the Pentagon, put military applications with
Oh god, no, I don't want to sell it to the military.
I mean, I can't imagine what the military would do with it other than like
Other than just the
repair
normal.
tanks on the field or something.
Well, this will.
Well,
This
the
doesn't.
military externalizes a lot of its R&D, so they'll buy up stuff even if they don't really have intention to use it because they use parts of its technology and other technology that they're creating.
Yeah. That's true. At the moment, supercapacitors are mostly used to as quick energy storage. Very few people use it for stuff like this, but this is also like the perfect application for it.
Kevin, Desmond's face terrifies me.
Yeah. Why are you doing that to him?
Cute.
All right, I think everybody's back, and I think I'll get off.
Terrifying.
I think
Sometimes terrifying things are cute, Lindsay.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for indulging me. This is my final project.
Yep.
Well done, Kevin.
No, that's awesome.
Hi, Bryn.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi, Bryn.
Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Kevin is putting that back. I'm sorry, I just saw the icon for Jark the first time. It's very good. Okay. Everybody is back, n'est-ce pas?
Also, hi, Zai.
What's up?
Is everyone testing their webcams?
I've been using it for interviews and shit lately, so
Oh,
I've had to
I
get
it.
adjusted to it.
Got you.
Wait. Okay. Everybody is on currently, right? We have Morgan, we have Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anybody interested in watching the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special with me? And presumably a lot of alcohol.
I told you I dig it. I'm into it. Can we just do it right after Christmas?
Morgan.
Do what, today?
No, just sometime.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, I thought you were talking about today. I'd be down with doing it after Christmas.
All right, after
I'm
Christmas.
not going to be drinking though. I will be doing
Oh,
other
yeah.
things.
I mean, I probably won't be drinking either, but it seemed like the kind of thing. I assume that people who drink will be drinking.
Okay.
I will be doing other things to kind of numb the pain.
Yeah.
Lots of sugar. Yes, I'll be.
Lots of
big-
heroin.
All right. I'm turning off my camera.
Okay. Bye again.
Wait. Why does it say that I'm muted?
I don't know because I can hear you.
Yeah, I
so.
can
Okay,
definitely
well,
hear you
never
coming
mind
through.
yeah.
I think it was just like one of the little
Okay.
things on the side.
Whatever. All right. So Kevin is putting that thing back in his room, but he'll be with us in a second. So, things in Bucchinia worked out. Does anybody have any questions about how things ended in Bucchinia?
Yeah, mate would be interested in knowing what was the outcome of the Beggar's Feast.
And Roy
Oh,
would like to know how
I
many
mean-
people died.
Yeah, and Roy needs a
Yeah.
body count.
See, here's the thing. The part of me that writes, like, YA stories wants to say that nobody died.
That's not how revolution
The
works.
realist thinks that probably several people died.
I mean, if it was across a revolution across an entire planet, that's why I was just like, are we talking thousands or are we talking
Okay.
millions? Because like
So
there
the
was buildings
revolution-
falling on people and shit. So
The revolution on SportRiot definitely cost a lot of lives. On Bucchinia, the goal was primarily to expose the fact that the person who was leading them was not, in fact, Ire. And that happened when he popped out a bunch of tentacles and started attacking everyone.
How many people did he kill?
You know what? I think I have to roll for it, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but Bryn,
we should.
hold on. You roll a D 40 plus 2.
I'm rolling 4d6.
That's fair. Okay, plus 1. Okay.
okay.
only
plus
13
one.
people dead.
Hold on.
But are those all high-ranking officials?
Yeah, it's surprisingly all high-ranking government officials.
On Bucchinia?
You know what? It would probably be primarily the people who were close to him when he went off, which would primarily be like his guards and the people that he had.
The small council.
Yeah, the small council.
Wait. Can we just like cut to a funny scene where they're just discussing some like completely mundane bureaucratic issue, and then Ire just like rips an official in half, and someone's like, "Well, that was uncalled for."
Two of them have completely zoned out of the debate at this point. They do not care about this debate. So they're just off on the sideline gossiping. And you know what? It's definitely not gossiping about anything important. They're gossiping about all of the like court romances that are going on and all the intrigue. And then one of them does just get ripped in half in front of the other. That definitely happened. Okay.
And I was looking for a good gif of Wilfred Brimley freaking out in the thing, but I can't find it.
Oh, jeez, yeah. That would be very appropriate.
So 14 people died on Bucchinia. We'll go ahead and say just for simplicity, 14,000 people died on SportRiot, which was not... SportRiot does not have a population in the billions. I think most, maybe like 1 million people that were living on that planet.
So new thing. The reason why I asked is thing that I'm thinking about doing with Roy, and I'm just going to do it. Roy records and remembers every single life that he has contributed taking, every single organic life that he's contributed to taking.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So
does he get reverse pleasure out of this?
I haven't determined what the cause for that yet is, but I do think there's value in knowing that number for some point.
Is it just a Google Sheets spreadsheet?
and he goes ahead and pulls as much vital information as he can about all the people who died. So he's drawing a correlation sheet between like, well, when was the birth date of all the people that I've ever killed?
No, it's just one column. It's one column, and it's titled organics, and it's just 1, 1, 1, 1, and at the very like equals sum of a column.
Yeah, I don't think it's for like vengeance purposes or pleasure purposes or anything like that. I think it's like a bill being settled. I think.
Fascinating.
So he doesn't. He's compelled to record this number, but I and he don't currently know exactly why. So that's why he was so insistent about knowing how many people actually died, because as far as Roy is concerned, our actions directly led to all of those people's deaths. So we have, as a group from just this event, we have 14,014 lives on our bill.
Roy does.
No, Roy has significantly more than that because Roy also used to be an assassin.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But I'm hoping that plays out better, like towards your epilogue.
Portion of the reported body count would be sleeved individuals, and as we've talked about before, those aren't organic.
Yeah.
Well, and
those recorded.
So when a sleeved person's body is destroyed, there's a very small chance that
they didn't back it up.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I think most people, with the amount of data that is stored in a human brain, I think that backing up your entire brain is very expensive, and most people don't do that. What most people do instead is the chip that holds all of who you are, as well as all of your memories and all of your knowledge and all that shit, the stuff that makes up the brain, is stored at the base of the mind computer inside of like a lockbox.
Yeah.
And then that lockbox then has a port that is attached.
Destroy.
Yes. So most of the time what ends up happening is either a sleeved person has enough like wealth and power and privilege that they are then able to get their body backed up into another sleeve, and then they just go on living.
I would also imagine.
So I would think that Roy would view the population data in general of those worlds. So let's say on Bucchinia, there was like a 20% amount of people who were sleeved. Then he would just reduce that the number of people dead from there by that. It's probably higher on planet SportRiot because like it's a corporate planet, and I assume there are a lot of like industry and stuff there. So it would probably be more around like 50 to 70%.
Well, actually, on SportRiot, the vast majority of the populace there are just menial labor workers who do not have nearly enough money to get the privilege of being sleeved, and their corporations are paying for that shit for them.
So we just did a Death Star. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is most of the people on that planet were purely biological, and those were mostly the people who were doing the rioting. Most of the people who were being rioted against were the upper class corporate people, and those were probably primarily sleeved.
Okay. So I'll take it as 13K then.
I would also imagine that there would be sleeved people are going to have
13,000 aberrations removed from the universe.
Have a galactic organization that goes around
Fucking AAA.
Yeah, no, seriously. To combat zone.
I mean, it's a business. Why wouldn't they?
Primary A, all right, not triple A.
Everybody, because you don't know what planet you're gonna get exploded on. So, Matt, there's a representative from AAA. They're like an insurance adjuster, and they come to every combat zone, post-combat, and they just like collect chips. And depending on the person's like, well, if you've given enough money already, they just put you in a new body and you go. If not, they put you in a new body with strings attached.
Yeah, I think
now you're in debt.
I think what happened.
Oh god, the future just became more horrible.
They don't know. It's just a black box. They don't know who it is when they retrieve the chip.
Right.
So they retrieve the chip, they put it in a blank sleeve, and they go, "Hey, do you have $30,000 on you?"
No. I'd imagine that everybody has identification, and based on that identification, if you haven't been paying your dues, now you're fucked. Now they've given you a new body, and they can take it away, right?
Gods, that is the most Free States of New Macedonia shit I've ever heard, and it's
that body is indentured.
Okay, so the revolution happened. Okay, here's the thing. At the end of every chapter, I need to give you guys a reward that is appropriate to your behavior during that chapter. And I think that what's going to happen is we are going to have a Star Wars Episode 4 ending where they have a big ceremony for you and everybody.
All right.
Listen, I'm not happy about that, but I do think that there was a big celebration and you guys all got knighted. And now if you want, you are allowed to put Sir in front of your name in the character sheet.
Do I get to pick what metal they produce it out of?
I think you can special request.
You know what I want.
Plutonium?
That's pleasant.
Oh my god.
I'll explain it to you afterwards.
Okay. I gotta get up to general here so I can see this. What? I thought that the guillotine was Morgan's post here. Okay. Yes. No. You're thinking in the right direction. Okay. Everybody gets a medal. Everybody gets knighted. I'm sorry, I don't have more fanfare for this. Samantha records it all and builds it into the documentary she's making. So back at the bar doing debriefing, the revolution on SportRiot was a success. The people have taken control of their planetary government. Everything on Bucchinia has gone successfully. King Darak is back in power. King Ire is back to being a party animal and not giving a shit about planetary government. And now that he doesn't have to worry about SportRiot trying to take over, he doesn't even have that level of responsibility. And if anything, I think he's like a little bit bummed out that he doesn't have anything to be rebellious against right now. Yeah. we've established how things are going with the tickler. Who has any questions for wrap up that I can address?
Can we ask like anything?
I mean, ask the question and then we'll see.
Well, how's Yakimaru doing?
Can we come back to that question? That I very much want to answer that, but that's going to be kind of a lengthy conversation.
Okay.
Are there any other questions, or should I go to that?
Yeah. Where can Mate keep the body of the
that
progenitor?
raises the question. I don't think that anybody. Who am I calling? Never mind. Apparently, I'm not calling anyone. Okay. So, Mate. This raises the question of: do you want to inform the people on the Gemini that you have this corpse and why you have it and what you're doing with it? Because I don't think anyone on the Gemini would mind, but I do think it'll be really sketchy if one of the like maids goes to clean out your bedroom and they do find a dead corpse in your bed.
Would it though? Because this is the Gemini. I think there's a common there's a courtesy that nobody comes into your room in case you have the corpse of somebody that you need for, because some of these people are bounty hunters. Like some of these people are going to like ice ahead.
You want to know the worst thing? I think that the Gemini probably has like a public use body freezer.
Yeah. If you need to, you get a mark and you have to turn that mark in later.
Yep.
Yeah, I was more thinking along the lines of where is somewhere on this ship or somewhere within a star system close to us that I could keep this. I kind of don't want this on the books, and I'm almost thinking, could I work with Roy to hide this on the ship?
Why doesn't Amil just like custom build you a like holding container for it?
Like a 6x2x2 refrigerator?
Yeah!
Yeah, if you come build that in my room, I would let you have any one item in the room free of charge.
Okay, this is a very interesting exchange that's happening. Wait, very important. Mate, what trophy did you take from this level? I mean, I guess you can consider the entire huge body a trophy.
I mean, the body is a trophy, but Mate didn't have any intentions of turning that into anything just yet. In fact, a lot of the work that they want to do is to try to figure out if there's any way that they can incorporate any of the, abilities from the progenitor into their systems, like see if they integrate properly. But that's more long term. Short term thing, I took the
metal.
I took the head of the CEO.
Well, that got explored.
Damn.
Okay, sorry.
He's all the way destroyed.
The real Mr. Gold escaped the planet. I think I might have forgotten to say that in all the other stuff I was saying.
Oh damn! I thought.
I think you mentioned that it was a clone version of him.
Okay.
I didn't know he escaped.
The real Mr. Gold escaped the planet and is somewhere in hiding in the Free States. The clone of Mr. Gold was splorted and turned into gray goo like all the other clones.
I think I took one of the crowns from one of the clones.
Okay. I did show them in crowns, so
yeah. I think I just ripped I ripped one off.
Yep. So are you gonna do something with? Are you gonna just now? I'm imagining you have just like a keychain hanging down from the butt of your pistol with a bunch of just stuff hanging from the keychain, and you now have just a fucking crown hanging from the keychain.
Yeah, until I get that retrofitted with Charlie, it's just a giant crown.
Okay, it's gonna really mess up your aim.
Yep, I imagine it's like a -1 on all shoot rolls.
Okay, all right. So that happened.
I built this refrigerator.
Amil rolled a fucking 16 to build refrigerator.
Okay, so it perfectly fits. He built it in the room.
Yeah, I want to imagine that it like you press a. It's like behind a panel in your room, and it's not conspicuous, but you just there's like a book on the bookshelf, and you pull that, and it just like immediately like a little arm goes out, and there's a body on it.
Yeah,
it's just very.
And with the 16, I think that it's probably like there's like a camera and some like sensory equipment in there.
Super professional.
Yeah, and at any time from anywhere in the galaxy, Mate can just remote in and check up on the body. Not that anything's likely to change, but just in case.
Yeah. Okay, Mate. My terms. I'm done building the refrigerator. Here are my terms.
Wait, did you hear? Mate offered anything in the room.
I will. What I want is not in this room right now. What I want.
Question marks.
What I want is a promise.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Wait, am I promising that I'll promise before you tell me what the promise is?
Oh no! I'm just pausing dramatically.
Okay.
Oh shit! I was gonna say.
I want next time you delve into progenitor history, will you look for Nova in their archives?
Ooh.
Okay. Mate's gonna extend their robot arm across the room and wait for a handshake.
Okay. Yes, I accept the handshake.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you very much. Don't tell anyone about this or I'll kill you. And then I just shut the door.
Okay.
When you say that, I cut a small.
I love how crazy.
I cut a small piece of my pinky. I cut a small piece of my pinky off, and I'm like, "Ha ha! You won't."
Not if I don't destroy all of them.
Okay.
It's a routine thing to just find little Amil bodies, like.
Oh God! Just little budlings.
I do my best to take care of them before after every mission, but I miss a few.
That's fantastic.
Are we gonna ever run into Amil forgot to clean one up and it becomes a full sized Amil?
It might, but there's a heavy chance that we're going to get a baby group thing going on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but not yet.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you for your help.
Look up the character of Rogu from American Dad.
I'm really glad that interaction went down. I do. We're gonna come back.
Oh, Zai, that's the worst.
We're gonna come back to that in just a second. Mate, we've established that this is a reasonable approximation of Mate's room, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and we can say that this is your body fridge.
Yeah, it's 100% a mess. In fact, it'd probably be even messier than this because the bed is mostly for show. Mate doesn't sleep in here.
Yes. The bed is for company. Speaking of which, after Amil walks out of the room and the door closes, I think there's a moment of silence, and then I think you hear a knock on the wall, like somebody trying to get your attention from inside the room, and you turn around and see that Samantha is standing in the room with you. And we're gonna get back to that in just a second. Okay, everything has been resolved over here except for Hyakamaru. I promise we're gonna deal with Hyakamaru. It's just, that's a lot. So,
I would like to talk with you outside of the game at some point about what Roy gets from Dr. Sidney over the many interrogations.
Yeah, great. And that can actually be during the next whatever it's called, interlude thingy. We will address what's going on with Dr. Sidney. And Ruda and the Tickler. Ruda, do you think that you kind of make some trade so that the tickler can get a bedroom next to yours because you guys are best buds?
Yeah. Yeah, like we're on the same workout routine too.
Okay, so now it is Ruda, Anwar, and the tickler getting up at 4 a.m. every morning and doing 3 hours of workouts.
Yeah, they've definitely turned it into like this competition.
Yeah. Great.
300 for 30.
Okay, so these three are workout buddies. Roy is resolving things with Dr. Sydney. Okay. So that leaves Aveline and Nox. And Aveline, I wanna do some stuff with Nox before we answer some questions about Hyakamaru. Are you good?
Okay.
Are you, Aveline, emotionally... So I think what happens is there's kind of this, like, everybody, says goodbye, everybody has some laughs, and they go off to, like, address their own stuff, and Aveline's, like, laughing and then looks around and realizes there's nobody left in the room except for herself, Nox, and Lise.
No. Can you make it so they forgot Nox and now... like they left Nox because he's in the body cast?
It seems very appropriate. But Nox and Lise are both here. Yeah, and I think that Nox kind of coughs politely. Real quick before I start this scene, do you have a response to finding yourself in this situation?
I feel like Aveline's probably like looking around to see if there's anybody that she can like rope into just not making this as awkward for herself as it is, but there's nobody. So then she's just kind of like staring back and she's just kind of like waiting for him to say something.
Now, Siva. Siva you only see in your own head, right?
Yeah, I don't think that I can see like a partition of her in the room or something like that.
Okay, here's what I think is happening. I think that you are incredibly nervous and you're looking around for some support, and I think the only support that you find is Siva appears standing next to you in the corner of your vision, and she puts a phantom hand on your shoulder and she says, "You're going to be fine, Aveline. Face this like a big girl."
Oh, Jesus.
So cute.
Okay, I'll go get the Siva icon while we're talking. So so Nox has kind of coughed politely, and I think he starts by saying like, "Hey Av, I can't thank you enough for helping with that. There's so much crazy shit went down over the past couple weeks, and honestly, you and your friends have done some pretty incredible things, and I'm really impressed, and I'm glad to see how well you're doing." And then I think he kind of pauses to give you a chance to respond.
I feel like Aveline is probably freaking out. Like, it's one of those things where, like, she doesn't really have an immediate response, but she's probably, like... She acknowledges the compliment, but she doesn't know how to accept it. Is the best that I can...
It's kind of like a quiet nod and, like, a low whine.
Yeah, like, she's just like, mm-hmm. And then she kind of, like, tries to push it off, like, yeah, my friends are super great. Lots of really talented people here. Yup.
Okay, important question. What does Aveline currently believe the relationship between Nox and Lise is?
I think she thinks they're together, but she doesn't want to ask and therefore make it real.
Yep. Nope, that feels perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think Nox kind of clears his throat again and he says, "Well, I can't thank you enough, Aveline. you know what? This has been great. Really, feel free to show up anytime, and that's all. We can be going. And he kind of starts nodding his head towards the door, like waiting for Elise to wheel him out. And she shakes her head at him and says no, and then smacks him on the head. And then she nudges her head towards you emphatically at him. And he lets out his own deep sigh, which is very similar to how you're feeling inside. And he goes, oh, fine. Okay. Okay, Aveline. We didn't ever really end things, and I think that we need to... I want to talk to you about some stuff. And he waits expectantly.
So a building falls on you, and you think the proper response is to break up with me. Officially.
I think that Lise is delighted right now. Lise is so happy at how uncomfortable Nox is, and she is laughing into her hands. He grimaces and says, "No. Well, sort of. Aveline, you know Lise. I think I've kind of led you to believe that Lise and I might be together. And the thing is, we're not. Lise is actually just a friend." And Lise nods, like she's glad he finally said it, because she was maybe gonna smack him if he didn't. And she says, "Hey, Av, sorry for all the trouble we've caused you. It was a dumb, immature, emotional defense of his, and I played along with it. I'm Ace. I have no interest in him, I promise. So we're not together, I promise." And then I think, well, hold on. How does Aveline respond to that?
Like she kind of like lets out like a sigh of relief, but then she realizes that sounds like really bad out of context, so she like pinches it, and she's just like, I mean, whatever works for you guys, you know? I mean, sure.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, this is all incredibly awkward, and I don't think I really do this to any player other than Aeneas, but it's like my favorite.
Well, Aeneas did do the aspect obsessed with X.
Yes, that's true. She asked for this when she made her character.
You kind of, yeah.
Okay, but I think it then finishes with Nox saying, "But I also don't think that we can be together, Av. I mean, I love you. You're wonderful, and you're better than I really deserve in a partner, but you know that I am never going to be... I cannot be what you need. You deserve, like, a partner who can be with you and live with you and settle down, and that's what you want, and that's not what I can ever be. And honestly, I think that you also know that I'm not expecting to get out of this crusade of mine alive, and that's not something I can offer you. It's not fair to you, so I'm sorry, but I don't think that we can ever be what you want to be."
Aveline kind of slumps in her chair and she like reaches out and she doesn't really know what to do with her hands at first because of like his cast, so she just kind of like settles for like
patting him on the
huh?
Like patting him on the knee?
Yeah, kind of. And she's just like, I don't like that you're saying this to me, but I'm glad that you said it.
Oh my god, that's so mature. And you know what? I think that at this moment, Siva pats you on the shoulder again and says, Aveline, I'm very proud of you for not teleporting out of the room.
She is like shaking right now. There's probably like the energy particles like whirling around her and she just hasn't made the jump yet.
She's semi-transparent because she's already halfway in the warp.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lee says, "Well, we should go." And she grabs Nox and starts wheeling him out, but Nox actually stops and says, "Wait, one last thing. Av, really, you deserve something good. So I want to leave you with this. That guy Yakamaru, he's kind of a dink. I would avoid that if I were you. But Anwar,
whoa,
and he's nice. So maybe see where that goes. Yep, bye." And at that, I think that Lise continues wheeling him out of the room.
Yeah, and Aveline's probably just arguing after him, like, what even led you to believe that anything was even going on over there? And, like, maybe you should mind your business. And, like, I'm a happy person right now.
Oh, that was painful, and I love it. Okay. That's
Poor
done.
Aveline.
Does Aveline lose the aspect obsessed effects?
I think we need to update that aspect. Now, would it be appropriate to give Aveline the aspect emotional closure?
Recovering.
Can we not, and just Aveline goes into a berserker rage when somebody mentions?
That's Negas's choice.
I'm asking, baby, please. You'll be like Josuke. When somebody talks about his hair.
Oh my god.
No. Holy shit. Roy will now, like, whenever we want Aveline to go berserk, Roy will hard light his face on the enemy.
I'll kill you guys.
I could do that.
Okay.
I'm so
If you
sorry.
Okay, Aeneas, we can go until the next brainstorm this and think about where to go with this. But I do think that an Aveline absolutely needs to have that that thing updated. Now we're running a little bit late. There's 2 scenes left that need to happen. One, we need to address what's going on with Hyakamaru, and the other, we need to address this scene with Mate and Samantha. Actually, that one I want to do as a post-game scene with just Mike. So
Oh wow, okay.
yeah. So before we do that, what do we want the scene to be around Hyakamaru? It can be any time period, any number of players involved, whatever you guys feel is appropriate.
I'll be there.
Okay. Aveline, do you want to be there?
With Hyakamaru? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, how do you feel about that berserker thing? I'm serious. You got the aspect.
I don't think we're going a berserker.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'm thinking like Haley, like you know, Halius.
Ruda, do you want to be there for the scene with Hyakamaru?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So is this like you guys go to confront him in the med bay where he's getting his new equipment installed? Or perhaps interrogating him
Roy wants to learn all of the history between Hyakkimaru and Sydney.
Okay. Okay. And actually, this is an appropriate time. You know what? I should answer this one first before we get to that. Mate, we'll come back to the scene with you and Samantha in the epilogue.
Mhm.
Mate, I think that we're now looking at several days after all the events on Planet SportRiot transpired. You've had time to analyze that transmission you found coming out of Hyakkimaru. By the way, Hyakkimaru was dead quiet for the whole trip back, and has not really said anything since until you guys come to interrogate him. But he has been, like, alert, but he looks like he's just trying to analyze the situation. He looks kind of confused. I think that this scene starts with Mate. You, translate isn't the right word. You managed to decrypt the transmission that you found coming out of Hyakkimaru, and, the transmission is, the mission to eliminate the traitor Sydney failed. Prepare a backup body for me. I'm going to scrap this one. And I think after that, there's a very brief description of the events that happened over the past, like, I don't know, month. And
Do I know where the IP was of where the transmission went?
Let's address. That's a very good question to ask. I think it's feasible that you might be able to figure that out, but let's have that be a question for next time. The big thing is you go. So presumably Hyakkimaru has been. That body has just been ditched. And yet it seems kind of alert. So maybe I think this scene starts after Mate finishes that decryption and informs the rest of the party about it. And then you guys go to talk to Hyakkimaru ? How does that start?
I actually probably should be there for that because I
Okay.
am responsible for his dismemberment.
Okay.
Oh, I was muted. I would also just lead with a "Who are you?"
Okay.
I'm gonna lead with a, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
Okay. So, real quick, where is this conversation happening? Is this?
I would guess it'd be like an engineering bay or some sort of.
Is this in the Galanga? I feel like
I
that's
think
appropriate.
this is-
Like maybe he
Yeah.
never left the Galanga.
Yeah, we put him in the Galanga, but like I'm going to be kind of like working on tying up his loose ends, if that makes sense. Like you know, 'cause
Like his
there's all this-
intestine?
No, there's all this damage when like he got his arms removed, like loose wires and stuff like that. I'm tying it shut to make them easier to, right? Like to make it easier to like work. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, hey, how's
This
it?"
is taking place in like some sort of a mechanical or engineering bay as opposed to like a medical area, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Because I think I have a mechanical bay at the back of the Galanga.
Okay. Cool. So, the first question was from Roy, and it was, "Who are you?" To which Hyakkimaru responded, my name is Hyakkimaru." And to Amil's question of, you asked, "How's it going, buddy?"
I'm gonna ask, "How's it going, buddy?"
I think he looks pretty alarmed, and he says, "Well, I'm surrounded by 5 people I don't know, and I don't have any limbs, and also I don't recognize my own voice module, so pretty confused."
What?
And he looks legitimately very confused and anxious.
Roy asks, "What is the last thing you remember?"
Well, Dr. Sydney and Marco, they gave me a new augment for my birthday. This one was a juggling augment for my arm, which I no longer have.
While he's saying that, I'm gonna be like, okay, buddy, this one's gonna hurt just a little bit, and I cut a wire, and it's like pain.
Oh yeah, and he definitely screams. And yeah, he grits his teeth. So the last thing he remembered was a birthday that involved both Dr. Sydney and Marco.
I would, or Roy would turn to the rest of the assembled people there and state, I don't sense any lie in this individual. This is not the same man that we dealt with down on Planet SportRiot.
Yeah, I don't understand what happened. I mean, I think that we would have to delve into his subconscious with his permission to answer that question. Is this
Roy
like
would like to ask Mate if there's any evidence that more than one imprint, warp signature, or whatever was inhabiting that vessel, that sleeve vessel.
Well, no warp signatures inhabit sleeves.
Okay, right.
Warp signatures are associated with biological brains.
But I would assume that there would be something that, like, there would be at least like a program or like a space that was separated on the hard drive for one thing and then another thing to still be there.
I think this is a good question to end this on, and then further investigation of Hyakamaru can happen next time. Mate, do you want to be the person who does that investigation? Maybe do a software using your deep dive tool?
I'm kind of split. Me, the character, playing Mate? Yeah, I would love to do that. Me, Mate probably would not be interested in doing that after what happened down on SportRiot.
Why not?
Watching what happened to... Like, I watched what happened to them. I was trying to help them. So I don't know why...
Do you want to ask his permission? If that would make a difference?
Yeah, I think I would 100% have to ask for permission.
Okay, yeah. Well, Hyakamaru is going to say, honestly, I would love that, because I'm also very confused. So if you can tell me what's going on, then please do.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it with express permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go that route. And then also trying to find out where the ID logs for where the transmission went. Like, those are the most pressing reasons why Mate is here.
I think that I'm going to pull like a little bit of slack and like 3 or 4 wires that I'm holding. I'm literally just gonna hand them to Mate because I'm thinking that like the port got like, we literally blew the port off. I'm like, hey, Mate, do you want? I could solder a header onto these if you want, real quick. Like
that would be the best, because I don't. Where do you want me to put these wires?
All right, so
like you're handing me handfuls of spaghetti. What do you want me to do with this?
Handful. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I pull out from my like toolkit like a little like soldering iron, and I do the little I twirl it on my hand, and then like I solder like literally like a USB. Like, I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be one of these really old obsolete USB-C.
It's a USB 1.0.
It's a USB.
Oh God.
Is that okay, Mate?
I mean,
you're gonna have to provide your own 5-volt input. I like.
Yeah,
we really did a number on this guy.
y'all really did a terrible thing to this guy.
All right, so I solder on the USB port and hand it to Mate.
Mate, you
regrettable but unavoidable.
You check in there. What you find is what you find is that there are essentially, obviously it isn't this simple. I'm kind of using simplistic language here, but It's the equivalent of there are like 2 user profiles on this computer under the users folder.
Somebody hasn't been doing their IT protocols properly.
Yeah.
Just left 2 active users at the same time.
Yeah. So there's one user that is named Hyakamaru, and then the other is named Hyakamaru 2748 backup, which you will note is about 10 years ago. And the Hyakamaru user profile is completely emptied out except for one text file. The 10-year-old backup folder is fully intact, presumably whatever was his status as of 10 years ago.
Is there any way that Mate could go back to a different version or image of his old user profile, or everything is just completely wiped?
No, he's too thorough for that. This guy was a cyber ninja assassin for Red Corp.
Oh yeah, so that shit's gone. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the .txt file
Okay.
and start perusing through
Wait,
some of the new stuff.
if I know any of this is going on, I'm gonna tell Mate to just display it to like a port and not open it directly.
Oh, in case it's a virus.
But if I'm not able to do that, then I can't do that.
Your call, mate. Are you displaying this information to everyone to see?
Yeah, I mean, I'm throwing this up on my face projector, so yeah.
Okay, everybody's watching Mate's big glass face like an old CRT monitor.
Gather round, children.
Okay,
Look at
yeah.
my face.
So you copy that text file and put it into a like safe environment to open it up in case it is any kind of infected. The text file it starts with "Dear old me. Sorry, I'm sure everything's pretty fucked up right now. And honestly, I'm pretty jealous of you. If I had my way, I'd be pretty happy to be you again. Honestly, I'm not sure I love the direction our life has been going. But that's not my choice right now, and I've started some business that I need to see through. So I'm gone. I'm sure I'll see you around one of these days. But for now, enjoy this body, enjoy the shit show that I left you in, and, don't take any shit from anyone. Peace, Kakamaru. And the peace of 13 E's.
Okay, now I feel really bad, Amil says out loud.
And
I look at Roy and I say, are we the bad guys?
and Kakamaru says, did my older self just fuck me over?
It does sort of appear that way.
Roy responds to Amil and
Into a
says,
dick.
"There is no good or bad, and we are not guys."
Okay. The last thing that I want to end this game on before I do the epilogue with Mate is I think that so are you guys going to keep Kakamaru around as his 13-year-old self?
I don't see why not. It'd be an interesting story device.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you guys get him hooked up with a new body that is not shaped like an adult man and doesn't have vampire fangs and 4 missing limbs?
I think it would be funnier to leave the 13-year-old in that body.
Okay.
I mean, why would we spend the resources to put him in a whole new sleeve, considering that we know that sleeves are really expensive and all that stuff? Like, and also, we would probably want to install some or make some change to his core programming, whereas if whatever it was that was in him tries to jump back in, it can't take control and it gets trapped there.
I love that. That's very good. Okay, so where is it? I have a new. Oh, son of a bitch! Hold on. I gotta go get a thing that thankfully I messaged to Aeneas before my computer died. So let me scroll on up here. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click Open Original. I'm gonna click Save Image As, and I'm gonna click Spacefare Sprites. Save. Okay. So one thing I'm gonna end this game with is oops, actually it was just right there. Where is he? Here we go. You guys are gonna get to see the new and definitely not improved Hyakamaru, who is a shitty 13-year-old who's edgy and writes poetry. You have to live with your decisions now.
That's
Take
funny.
it in. It's glorious, I know. Yeah, you guys have to deal with fucking edgy teenage Hyakamaru now. And that's
Nobody even listens to me.
yes, exactly. And that is how
Like Baby Groot.
ends.
Oh god, it's like that one character from Star Trek.
Oh,
The 13-year-old on Deep Space Nine.
Wesley?
Yeah, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Okay.
Why is the child on my bridge?
Oh boy. Mike's message is too real.
I mean, that's basically what you handed us, so good luck.
Yep. Okay, so let's wrap it up here, and I will do the epilogue with Mike.
All right,
Cool
y'all.
beans, y'all.
Good
This
game.
was
Okay.
great.
Yeah, this was a very good game. I liked this.
This was a very heavy game.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going down.
All right.
Threads getting closed.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Well, take it easy. Enjoy your weeks.
All right, guys.
And
All right, y'all.
Enjoy. Merry Christmas. Let's fucking
Merry
play again.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
All right.
Bye,
right, y'all.
everyone.
See ya.
I am.
See ya.
All right, mate. Mike, I am moving into the bedroom, so Kevin will not get any spoilers. God,
give me like 2 seconds. I just want to stop the recording.
Sure. Do you want to keep recording it and maybe save like 2 copies of it so that I'm working on it. Okay. So that we can have like a secret director's cut.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll keep it going.
Okay. So this scene starts with Amil has just left the room. You closed the door and you heard a knocking from inside your room and turned around to see that Samantha is in the room with you.